Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of Lay Film. My name is Kevin. I am one of the co-hosts of the show, and as always, to my right, which you don't know where that is, but to my right we have
Tyler,
and then to Tyler's right we have
Jezzer,
and then to Jezzer's right we have
Patrick,
and we're gonna try to have you all know us by our voices, hopefully, because, for all those people out there who have a certain favorite, I'm going to try my best to refer to you guys by your names during this episode. And if you're here today, it's because you were like, holy shit, there's an episode on Beau Travail. I'm gonna listen to this episode. We aren't at watching yet. We'll get there eventually with video stuff. Hopefully in the future. But as always, I personally think it's boring to just jump right in because, we got to develop these personalities. Mm-hmm. Tyler brought up a really good question. We just recently passed Labor Day weekend, right? It was Labor Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes.
3-day weekend. How was it for you, Tyler?
It was great. I had a good time. I had a lot of friends over for the weekend. I had a fantasy football draft that I hosted. That was fun. I picked a bunch of limes in my backyard.
Ooh.
And made margaritas with fresh squeezed lime juice.
You have a lime tree in your backyard?
Dude, yeah. I pulled like 100 limes.
Damn,
easily,
son.
and squeezed them all.
Holy
Squeezed
shit.
them all.
With your bare hands?
Took me like an hour and a half to slice them all in half and squeeze them.
Wow.
Yeah. But I had like 2 full things of Tupperware lime juice.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was cool. Pretty much just hung out. It was a little productive too, and I was productive.
What'd you do?
Was partied and was productive. Well, I cleaned the house before we had people over, so then we partied and then cleaned the house the next day to clean up. I just did some stuff in the back, weed eated, mowed the lawn. I'm in my dad life, suburb life.
Dadcore.
You're living
Yeah.
it up, man. Living it up.
I take pride in my grass, my front lawn. It looks like shit right now. It's like a good length and trimmed good, but the color looks like shit. It's like brownish.
You're like, this is a
Light
mountain
green.
green.
Yeah.
It'll rain eventually.
I need more chemicals.
Jezzer,
Yes.
what did you do this weekend?
Similar thing. I moved. I don't know. I guess we didn't talk about it in the last episode, but I moved to a house and just going through more unpacking, setting up the place a bit more, set up some stake lights in my garden area, trying to figure out how to hang up some string lights, but it's tough because the space isn't as spacious as other my neighbors. All my neighbors have string lights, but their fucking yards are bigger and shit. So I'm trying to figure out how I can get string lights going. But yeah, I'm just chilling, playing Pokemon, watching some Pokemon. Yeah.
Which Pokemon are you playing?
I got into Soul Silver.
Oh my god, I have it on my phone right now.
Oh, shit.
Have you seen that now?
Oh yeah, I'm just emulating it too because
you are?
It's expensive to buy a copy, like $100.
Did you use any cheats?
No, I'm just emulating off of DSMU, whatever.
Yeah, so I did use one cheat though, and I got me a
Oh shit.
Charmander.
Oh damn.
I got me a Charmander Totodile fucking
damn.
tandem to start.
I didn't even know there were cheat codes. What the fuck?
Yeah, the
crazy.
one
I
I
didn't know
know,
that
you
either.
can get. I also have all wild encountered Pokemon are shiny.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got a shiny.
Tyler's
Crazy.
living the dream over here.
I got a black Charizard on my way
Oh,
soon.
what the fuck? All right. Damn. Yeah, so I'm just playing that because I never beat Pokemon Silver as a kid, so I'm like, fuck it, might as well do the remake.
Well, which Pokemon series are you watching?
I'm jumping around to season 1 and also Johto seasons, but then I also started watching the brand new Pokemon Horizons where they ditched Ash. They're like, you're done, kid, and it's refreshing to have new characters and a new storyline. So
You're making me want to watch that now.
Which one's your favorite movie?
out of the ones I've seen so far, number 3 with
Entei?
yeah, like
Charizard?
yeah,
comes
because
to
it's Charizard's arc is incredible.
So good.
And it's like it's a very good journey in the beginning before they break into Entei's castle. Yeah, it's just so good. I need to watch the others though. Like I've heard the one with Lucario is good. I've heard the one with Darkrai is good. Yeah, but
that one and Pokemon 2000 are my favorites.
Really,
Oh.
I'm gonna rewatch that one.
That was a phenomenon.
Dude, yeah. I mean, the first three I think are the best.
Yeah, of the first three, I would
like
say
2000
number
the
3.
most, and then probably Entei, and then the first movie.
Yeah,
Third.
The Ocarina song starts playing. Tears.
Yeah.
Tears down these eyes.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch 2000 and see, because I just watched 1 and 3 very recently again. I'm like, yeah, 3 is still the best, but let me see how I feel about number 2 again. So yeah,
I remember having such beautiful memories with like the original like silver and gold versions, and I didn't have either game, but I would, like, my brothers had them, and I would just like play them like when they weren't playing it. But then my cousin gave me her copy of Crystal version, which is like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And I still have that. I still have that copy.
Damn.
And I remember I wrote on the back, Kevin's Booyah. Like, I finally made it.
Damn, son.
But yeah, even the original like Pokemon 2000, like, to me that was like one of the best cultural phenomenons I got to like experience with like all my like friends and everything. And like, didn't they have like certain card packs where you can like buy it and see if like you got like a Mew or something, or like a Mewtwo or something?
Yeah, there was a lot of promotional stuff back then.
Yeah.
I remember in the 90s growing up, we would go to Burger King all the time to get the Happy Meals to catch all 150 Pokemon. And yeah, those were crazy times. There was a lot of Burger King trips back then.
Well, Pat, how was... Oh, that was my mailman. Unexpected special guest.
Scared the shit out of me.
Pat, how was your Labor Day weekend?
I don't think I did much. Family coming in from out of town. My cousin. And then he's just been hanging out. And then I took my niece to the roller rink with my uncle, her grandpa, and that's basically it. Just relaxing.
Have you been keeping up on your roller skating?
I go with them probably once a month at least, sometimes twice. Like every other Saturday practically. So yeah, I'm doing the little step over. I haven't learned anything crazy yet though. But no, I'm gliding.
You're gliding?
Fine.
You're cruising?
I'm at a point where I'm cruising.
I can
I'm
see
up there.
Pat like secretly just being raw as fuck.
That's the goal.
Like Hal from Malcolm in the Middle, just
Yes. I do wish to be that smooth with it. But I'm at the point where I was like, I should just buy skates. I should buy inlines or just something to do it on my own.
Just go for it. I mean, it seems like it's so much fun too, with like swapping out bearings and stuff on wheels, and also getting like certain hardness in wheels, and customizing like the straps, the laces, like all this stuff.
No, I've been window shopping. I'm like, okay, which ones do we go with which? How do I? But it's just like, I don't know if it could be one of those things I buy and then it kind of collects dusts for a long time. But yeah, I didn't do much at all, really, which is nice. But I did see one amazing movie. My cousin's fiance and my brother were up all day drinking. I think we did get up at 7 a.m. to go see the United Liverpool game at a bar somewhere. And yeah, that was fun because they got whooped. But yeah, then so my brother just kept drinking all day, and then I put on this week's movie. And within like 10 minutes, my brother's passed out on the couch. And then my cousin's fiance like made it like 30 minutes and then passed out on the couch. And I finished it, and I was like, that was great. And I put a little blanket on him, and I went to bed.
You know, I had I think I heard, like, when I was using the restroom beforehand, I think I heard Tyler talking about how you, like, were feeling, like, the urge to fall asleep.
Yeah.
So I just watched the movie. Like, I finished it. Well, I watched it, like, a few hours ago. And I got about, like, halfway through it, and I'm just, like, sitting in my chair, and I'm like, man, I just, like, want to fall asleep, like, watching these guys just, like, working out and, like, going through the entire regimen and everything. So I definitely get that feeling as well. My Labor Day weekend, I fucking shot a music video for a band called The Snares, a live music video, and I just got beer spilt all over me during their performance, and my knee got like bruised from like hitting the stage because I'm like trying to like stand still and like just grab people or grab footage, and it was amazing. It was so much fun. That's like one thing I'm actually looking forward to getting to editing. Everything else that I'm editing is just but aside from that, did some partying, which was cool. You know what's weird? I've realized that I don't get hungover usually. Like, it doesn't matter how much I drink, I usually don't get hungover, and I feel like that's a very dangerous thing.
It's because you got that dog in you.
Well, I got that dog in me. But then after that, decorated the apartment, and when all Halloween stuff, got ghosts hanging up all around here. You guys can see we got pumpkins, we got lights, got spooky stuff. It's spooky season, baby.
Woo!
Moment September rolls around. Yep. I wanted to do it earlier. Like the moment August rolls around, it's got to be like a 3-month long thing.
Easter's over. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Bring out the pumpkins.
But I've been watching a bunch of movies over the weekend just to get in the festive spirit, and you guys aren't gonna believe this, but I grew up as a Scooby-Doo kid.
Oh.
And I've been watching a bunch of Scooby-Doo horror or like Scooby-Doo movies.
Like the cartoons too?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Which one's your favorite?
Dude, Zombie Island.
Okay. Yeah.
Zombie Island is classic.
It's a good soundtrack.
Yeah. The soundtrack is amazing. The entire vibes of it, it genuinely feels like a horror movie, which I feel like Scooby-Doo is.
Is that? I think I've seen that one.
It's like the one where
they're like at the mansion or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of movies. I also watched Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, which is a classic one.
Damn.
They made a video game out of that. Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Cauldron. I think that's what the Hex Girls.
Yeah, the Hex Girls.
Oh man, waifus.
Man.
Woo!
Seeing that as a kid was crazy.
Oh, dude, that's probably tied with Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island for me.
Yeah, okay, I remember Zombie Island. I had to look it up.
Which one was the one
Dude,
where
it's such a classic.
where Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy go to like a school and then they're all like Halloween monsters there?
Oh, that's the I just watched that
because
one.
that one I liked a lot too.
That was
not the Monstars. That's the Space Jam. Isn't it like something Mon something?
It's like a ghoul. Shoot, let me look it
Yeah,
up.
whatever that one is. I thought that was cool because I'm like, oh, it's just Shaggy and Scooby and Scrappy.
Oh,
like.
it's the unwilling werewolf.
Oh, okay.
Or the reluctant werewolf.
Okay.
Scooby-Doo, because Shaggy turns into a werewolf because they need him to compete in like a race for them.
Oh damn.
And it's with it's just one of those one-offs of Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy. And then I watched it's one where they're in Mexico. All of these ones just blur together to me after a certain point.
Right.
Are you gonna dabble with the WWE?
Oh, John Cena,
Scooby-Doo crossovers?
Oh, shit.
Or didn't they have a Globetrotter crossover?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, it was and the Monster of Mexico. That was the movie I watched.
Okay.
I still want to watch Ghoul School because that's one of the older ones. Alien Invaders also slaps. I love that movie.
What about the live action one?
Dude, the live
Yeah.
actions are great. I grew up like I destroyed those DVDs as a kid.
Damn.
Like I was obsessed with Scooby-Doo as a child. But yeah, just watching a bunch of those movies, getting into the
That's good Halloween, to put you in the festive moment.
Yeah, and also I watched a bunch of like Nickelodeon specials. I didn't realize that there's like a newer SpongeBob special where it's all stop motion, like animated, and it was really fucking good. Surprisingly,
Whoa.
it was like one of their newer episodes. I watched the older one, of course, Fairly Odd Parents special, Rugrats special, Rocket Power special, like
Damn.
all of these.
Damn, you're just going to the classics.
Yeah, I'm trying to get in the spirit, man, because my life
You watched
is just
the
hell
orange
right now.
cassette tape, Rugrats?
Yeah.
No.
Which one is that?
Oh, that's
That's like the Reptar movie, I think.
that's the one where they go to Paris, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What?
Yeah, Rugrats in Paris.
Damn, I haven't seen that since I was like 5. What the hell?
Mhm.
Does it hold up?
Yeah. Oh,
Damn.
I remember when like second grade or something, like teacher would throw that in on a Friday.
Yeah.
And you're just like, fuck yeah.
That's when you know you're
Like,
in for a
today's
treat.
gonna be a good day.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Playing fucking Pokemon Ruby on my SP under my sweater
Wow.
during the whole movie. Trying to catch Latios.
Dang, good times.
They wheel in the TV.
Yeah.
Click, folds it shut.
Bill Nye, the science guy, starts playing.
Yeah, overall a really good weekend. I'm kind of saddened at how much I look forward to 3-day weekends now that I'm like getting older, and I'm like, fuck, dude, like this is fucking awful. I also watched God, what other movie did I watch recently? I watched a movie called Oslo August 31st by oh god, I'm gonna mispronounce this, Joachim Trier. He's the guy who made The Worst Person in the World, which was a newer movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah, this was sort of his standout movie that or his breakout movie,
Right.
I should say. Very depressing, and it kind of I resonated with a lot because just like life stuff recently, like, man, the work grind is killing me. But moments like these is what I'm looking forward to, where we all get to hang out, just watch a movie, and as I was watching this, I was like, dude, this movie is so Pat coded.
I did float at the Billy Budd Opera intro with them with their hands up in the sun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then it showed the water. I was like, hold on, guys. I think I literally turned it up when my brother was just like passed out. I was like, no, we're going to 24. I don't care that it's late.
Like, I have like a goal for each person. Like, if I can like find a movie that like resonates with each one of you to like where it's just one that like sinks into you. This movie I know will sink in with Pat. Like, you'll go back to certain sequences.
I've already done it.
And,
I
like,
downloaded it and I've rewatched like 4 scenes when they're doing the face to face and the music's building and the fucking shows. God damn. I watched this whole movie. It's like, why isn't this my life? Why can't I do this? Why am I not there? Even though it looks like hell on earth in certain aspects.
So, like, just to sort of get this whole episode started, now, you know, the reason why you're actually listening to this movie, or listening to this episode, this movie was directed by Claire Denis, which was made in 1999, and the synopsis is, well, first the tagline is, of course, one of the opening lines of the movie, maybe freedom begins with remorse. Foreign Legion officer Galoup recalls his once glorious life training troops in the Gulf of Djibouti. His existence there was happy, strict, and regimented, until the arrival of a promising young recruit, Sentain, plants the seeds of jealousy in Galoup's mind. And the reason why I picked this movie is because back during COVID, Pat and I, we did like a 30 days, like where we watched a movie every single day of a month and gave thoughts on it or whatever. And this was one of the movies that I watched, and this was like probably 2 or 3 years ago or something like that. And when I first watched it, I didn't really like think too much of it. I'm like, oh, this is a cool movie. But then like over the years, it's sort of like scratched at me like, hey, like you need to watch this again. And the ending of the movie is like what's seared into me, and I just always think about that as like one of my favorite endings of all time. And yeah, I was like, okay, I gotta watch this movie. I gotta like talk about it with you guys, because I don't know, it's just doing something to me. And even now I'm like struggling to come up with the words of how I feel about this movie, because you guys have seen it. There isn't much of a plot line to this movie. It's just sort of following a group of this regiment as they're going about their daily lives, and that's about it. Like, there isn't really like too much to command and conquer or whatever. But yeah, I'm curious to hear like what some of your guys' like first impressions of this movie was.
Well, I told Pat this earlier. I was hoping for it to be more gay. Like, I looked at the synopsis and it said drama/LGBTQ film. I was like, okay, I'm in. It wasn't gay enough for me. Like, I was hoping for like, I I don't even know. I was hoping for like closeted homoeroticism from the military boys juxtaposed to like their hyper masculinity or whatever. There's bits of it, I guess, but yeah, not gay enough for me. And then,
All right. That's gonna go down as one of the quotes.
a little slow, but the visuals were really tight. I just liked seeing like these guys be put to work.
Yeah, it's good work.
Yeah.
That's what it means. Yeah.
And yeah, I like you said, there really isn't much of a through plot. It's just these boys doing their thing until Galoup, the supervising officer, gets mad at one of the boys and then forces him to start digging, and all that sets off the rest of it. And that's when I really clocked in. I was like, oh, okay, now conflict. And of course that ending is really sick. Like, yeah, as you're saying, as you mentioned earlier, that scene where he's just like going ham with the dance, with the song Rhythm of the Night. I was like, okay, all right, this part's tight. I can see why this movie's sick. Yeah, no, I thought it was very visually strong. I like that a lot. And definitely something I should rewatch. So I feel like maybe it is gay enough and I just didn't realize. I don't know. Yeah.
Patrick, what are your thoughts?
Jizzer, is there a woman character in this film who's given a name?
Say that again?
Is there
given a name?
I would say this movie
Pat's coming out hot.
This movie is filled to the brim with
Of
homoeroticism.
gayness? Oh,
this
yeah.
is,
Okay.
it is boiling over.
Maybe it just went over my head.
No.
Maybe
Yeah,
I gotta pay more attention.
I feel like maybe it's just like it's more subtle. It's like sneaky.
It's less like
Like, when
kiss
they're
on
like-
the lips,
they're just
more
like-
like fear in the eyes when they're facing off. There's like, I love that look. And is it Sentain?
Sentain.
Yeah.
Sentain. It's
Sentain.
like, it reminds me of Satan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sentain.
Sentain.
But his eyes, he's like he's slightly taller, and he's looking downward. And there's like his acting's so good. There's like a fear and curiosity like in his eyes, and the other guy's stonewalling him. But because we know his inside thoughts, it's like, oh god, he is full of lust under that to just domineer this fool, and he's not even aware of why he wants to. And I love this movie. That intro scene with one of the best intros I've seen recently, and it takes like 5 minutes, I feel like, and I just love every second of it. Like
Yeah, like Galoup like is just recounting
recounting, and then like a club, and there's ladies dancing. They're lit kind of hauntingly. And it's like, okay, what happened here? And then you jump to like a mobile artillery station that's left destroyed, or refuge from some past conflict. And then it's like a shot of sand and the silhouettes raising their hands in unison, and it's just operatic. Like, I don't know. It's like I was like, we're on a spiritual journey of transformation. I am ready. And then it shows the ocean. I was like, oh my. It's so beautiful too. It's like emerald, and there's just sand and salt and volcanic rock, and I was like, really, yeah. It felt like an epic, even though not much happens at all. It felt like they were like in the land of heroes, or like some grand land, and they're gonna be shaped by it. But really, they're being shaped by each other and the connections they can and can't have. And I love this movie.
Wow. All right, it landed with Pat. Tyler, what did you think about this?
I feel like I'm in between. I'm somewhere in between. I did think it was like at the start a little slow, but the imagery and the cinematography definitely kept me in it like right away. And the editing, once you start to get to like those training scenes, that's when the first time I watched it, because I watched it late, so I went to bed and turned it off. But I feel like those scenes of like the training, like going to the obstacle course and stuff, it was like so repetitive. It was like waves like washing over me, where I'm just like, I was like meditated after, and then so I went to sleep. But then I turned it back on, and I liked like the music, the sound editing too. You know how it just that Rhythm of the Night, but then I forget who was it, the orchestra, the score.
I think it's Billy Budd.
Billy Budd. Yeah.
I think it's it's an opera. It's set in the French Revolution.
Yeah, off of Herman Melville's novel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, sorry. No, you're good.
Yeah, and that's the one that has parallels, right, to this film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I had the volume so low, because it's kind of quiet throughout the movie. But then when that score raises up, it was like just booming through my whole house, and I was like, "This is fucking sick."
I was standing up, taking off my shirt. Whenever
You were praising the sun with them.
I was like, I'm ready.
I feel like I just wanted more. Once it got into it, I was like,
Yeah.
"Damn!" It's like because once it kind of really gets going, it ends pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, it's really short. It's like only an hour.
yeah, it's only like an hour and a half.
Honestly, an hour and a half is the pristine
Perfect. It's
pretty good length
of movie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree.
Can't get better than that.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's I'm really glad that like we all have sort of like a range of reaction to this movie, because like I find myself like definitely recognizing each one's point of view, because like when I first watched it, like I mentioned, it didn't really like sit well with me. Like I appreciated it, but I was like, okay, but what is this movie like saying? Like it's just sort of the same thing over and over again. And like what you mentioned, Tyler, about it, like you felt like this sort of meditative feeling like wash over you like waves in a sense. And I feel like waves, like how just in nature waves are just consistent and they like wear away. Like they're like an unrelenting willpower, and this movie feels very much like that set of waves, just like eroding me. Like every time that I think about it, and I'm like, oh man, I really gotta watch this movie again because it's doing something to me. And after this last rewatch, it's almost like a ghost story in a way, because you see the fate, you see like Galoup ironing his black clothes well in advance before like the second act of the movie, and it's even like sprinkled throughout the movie itself, and it definitely plays with a lot of like the timing and like Galoup coming across his like he's like speaking about when he's like going in town and seeing his entire like platoon like celebrating like on their leave, and he's like, oh yeah, this was the telltale sign. Seeing Sentain, he was leading the entire group, and then I see my commanding officer driving in the car, and then he's like almost like a deer in headlights in front of the car, and it's just so it's almost like watching somebody die and then seeing like their entire like life flash before their eyes, or at least the most memorable parts of it. Yeah, it was so trippy seeing it a second time.
Yeah, and that kind of goes with the tagline, I guess, like freedom and remorse, right? Because at the end, he finally he was able to dance and be free after, I guess, feeling the remorse.
Yeah. Huh.
And Pat, you brought up
because he says he regretted it. He says he regrets what he did, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But Pat, you mentioned something. Like you texted us like after you watched it, and you're like, "All right, we're all gonna join like the
let's hop
Foreign
on
Legion."
in.
So what about the Foreign Legion is alluring to you?
I think it's obviously I would never really do that, and it's kind of an evil invention, just like all military stuff. But the camaraderie and the adventure, like I was like a dumb. I don't know. It's like a dumb kid seeing Transformers or Marvel something happen when those dudes are swimming with the Bowie knives underwater. I was like, that seems tight.
That's your
I was like, what are they training? Like they're like knife fighting underwater.
Like a shark? Are you gonna fight
I did
sharks?
like that scene. I was like, oh, I could do that shit right now.
It was like shot on like a GoPro, like proto, like
I like
early
the
90s.
flippers and the goggles. I'm like, I want to do that. Like have a hunting knife and just go fucking swim. Like I already swim. Like let me just add the knife part. Like,
but like it's like I want to camp out with my boys in the ruins of some empire outside of Djibouti on the emerald water.
and I also want to get in a circle with you and go.
Like
So that is a thing, but
aggressively fucking like hug or tackle hug each other.
that is a thing. But like some core memories are like playing sports, like soccer. Like there are moments where like when you get a goal. Like I did a volley in high school. Like I got pissed. I just hammered the ball, and it did like outside curve into the goal.
Whoa.
And I just turned around because I was still pissed for some reason. I forgot what I was mad about. It was the heat of the game. And I'm running away, and like just two of my friends just like full on tackle me in like disbelief. But it's like a core memory of like, oh, it's camaraderie, or like
Yeah. A brotherhood.
yeah. I was like, oh, I want to recapture some of that in this beautiful landscape. I want to carry on FAMAS.
Me too. Me too.
I want to be trained to be like masculine and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate the movie. It does a deep dive into that world and those those kind of toxic masculine fantasies that I'm having,
Right.
and can show me like, oh well, look at this, look at this inadvertent evil that environment itself creates, which is the repression of the one's sexuality. And yeah, but I was just like, oh, this is awesome. As naive and stupid as it is, I'm like, I like it.
Yeah, I was having that same thought too as I was rewatching it, because I've been feeling the blues lately, and as I was watching this, I was like, these people have like a specific purpose for waking up in the morning, and they're preparing for a war or a battle that will never happen. Like, who are they gonna fight? There's
Right.
nobody around. They're like in the old ruins. There's like decommissioned like military gear every turn that they're located in, and they're practicing like these insane exercises for something that will never come. But the thing is, they all have a certain place, they all have a certain role that they fulfill, they all have a reason to wake up in the morning, and it's scheduled, it's regimented, they have accountability. And like for me, like ever since I've been out of school, I've just felt so aimless, and it's scary because it's like I had this thought earlier of like, man, I'm just working, that's all I'm doing, and the time that I spend to try to do the things that I actually enjoy, it's so few and far between. Like I have to muster up some sort of energy to even spend enough time on that. Like for instance, like I have a film shoot coming up in like a week or two of like shooting like a second scene of a new film that I'm trying to work on, and it's taken so long to get to this point, and it's scary to think about how it could just fall under in any given moment. And I was like daydreaming about like being a part of this group of people who don't necessarily have to live for the weekend, because every single day that they're living, they're putting their body to use. Like Galoup has this one quote of like, when he's starting to feel the resentment towards Sentain, he says something along the lines of, "Oh, my muscles are rusted over. I've spent too long, not being active," or like all these different things. And I resonate with that so hard, because I'm like, I just feel so out of practice, and it's scary to think about how your entire life that you build up could just vanish, And it's like, well, what was the point of it then? And at least with like a group of these soldiers that you're with inside of this platoon, like there's some camaraderie, like you all know what you're getting into. And that to me, like I could see the allure of that, absolutely.
But then it's like, what do you do when you're out of that? Even if you don't get kicked out for being an asshole, what if you're too old so you can't do it anymore, and then you don't have that camaraderie?
That's an excellent point.
And then you go to the VA, and they deny all your benefits, and then oh yeah, it's not compatible with modern existence.
Yeah.
That's like old school.
Right.
Again, French, Napoleonic, old world, military
Right.
tradition.
It's
Yeah.
like, it's not a world, or modern times has no place for soldiers or those old-fashioned heroes,
Yeah.
very Metal Gear-esque.
Mm-hmm. Like one of my favorite quotes from the beginning, like when Galoup is recounting like his life. Basically, he says, "My story is simple. The story of a man who left France for too long, a soldier who left the army as a sergeant. Chief Master Sergeant Galoup. That's me. Unfit for life, unfit for civil life." Holy shit. That is...
Yeah, that's probably why he's driven to madness at the end, right? He's like, well, I'm just gonna fucking off myself, make my bed, military style, and then,
He puts a towel under the sheet,
and
too.
he's like very meticulous about it.
Because he had like nothing. I mean, it was like ingrained into him, but I feel like he was just like trying to capture that again. Even when he's like pruning his tree, I think that that's pretty close to the scene where they're like climbing all the obstacle stuff. So he's like thinking of that when he's pruning the tree and he's like hopping around on the branches, like super athletic and shit.
And it's not enough for him. He's like, oh, I don't fit in this, ordinary realm or whatever.
Yeah, it was also really strange seeing the dichotomy between Galoup and his platoon, as well as like his commanding officer, like his mentor.
Yeah, that guy was chill.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. His mentor was like so easygoing compared to Galoup, and the commanding officer's name was Commander Bruno Forestier. So there's Galoup, Forestier, and then Sentain. Sentain? Oh, man.
I don't know. I'm not a Frencher.
Yeah, and then the rest of them were just labeled legionnaires.
Yeah.
And I read up on the Foreign Legion, and apparently when you sign up, you sign away your name. Like you are nameless basically until you earn it back, which is crazy to me. And the Foreign Legion, like anybody can join it. It doesn't matter what country you're from, as long as you sign away your name.
Yeah,
to them.
and it's almost like you're dropping your allegiance to your original nationality too. Because remember that one scene where he's like, "Hey, you're not African anymore. You're a legionnaire now. You don't have to, be sorry for this fellow soldier who's being punished or whatever."
Yeah, when he's digging the hole.
Right, and it's like they're their own like little nation. It's like there's like they're their own sovereignty. I thought that was kind of interesting. Like that's how strong they were together as a group of people. I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like the detail with the commander when he's talking about, he doesn't have aspirations, but like one of the intro things about him is he was in Algeria. That's a huge L. They lost. That was their Vietnam before Vietnam. So it makes sense completely that he's like checked out, or he's seen through the illusion about the camaraderie. He's like, oh, it's nice, but this is still a military force for these ends, and it can't beat certain things, which is like the will of the people. And yeah, they got a big L handed to him. So he's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna put too much stock in this anymore. Like I'm not gonna sweat my life about promotions or this, that, or the other. Like I'm at a point where I'm happy, and I'll just take care of my boys.
Yeah, and even Forestier has a ghostly appearance to him. Like his eyes have like a really like thin iris around them. I don't know if that's like through contacts or whatever, but it's like a ghostly gray.
Yeah, they're like
really,
so white.
Yeah. And even the way that he interacts with a lot of the Legionnaires, he's very kind compared to Galoup, who is just completely unrelenting in like, hey, oh, you abandoned your post. Oh no, this person was just going to, go pee. It's like, nope, you abandoned your post. I'm punishing you. You failed your country. Basically, like you failed the group as a whole. You were the reason why we have failed. And it's just so crazy how deep Galoup is into this radicalization. And it also it makes me so worried about just people who become indoctrinated into the military, like as just a young person, like because I have family who like they've talked to me and they're like, oh well, what if like my dream is to join the military, and I'm like, please do not do that. That is a horrible idea.
Right.
Yeah, because you just sign away your life to them, and they don't give a shit about you.
Yeah.
And it's harrowing. Like, you could kill yourself, and they'd be like, okay, it's no big deal. We could just fill your...
Right.
We'll go out and recruit somebody else.
Not to mention, like, the PTSD you're left with afterward that they don't have you treated for, or even, like I mentioned earlier, the closeted hypersexual eroticism that goes on in there with, you know, hidden sexual assaults, hidden sexual harassments among the barracks and what have you.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you're a woman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
my God. Oh... Like it's truly horrifying the shit that goes on there. It's a cult. It's like one of the biggest cults in the world. It's just this idea of military nationalism, and there are people who like, of course, like believe in that sort of thing, and
yeah.
I'm not gonna like shit on people who like join it for one reason or another, but it's just scary to think that this entity has become sort of like an omnipotent force in like the way that we live our lives, and they're constantly scooping up people to just become fodder, and it just mashes down identities, it mashes down any sort of like free agency, and in order to fit their status quo, basically, like they're hammering you down. And it's terrifying to think about, you know.
You want a good scare? There's a Rolling Stone article about the Fort Bragg killings. That's a nice, fun read. About, yeah.
What's it about?
It's about I think it was 2020 or 2021. More servicemen died at this fort than in Afghanistan that year, and it's all related to special forces, drug trade, and human trafficking.
That's insane, dude.
And yeah, one of the great excerpts is a guy who shoots his friend who's also like extreme badass, like, oh, I'm SEAL team or I'm Delta Force. He's like, okay, cool. Shoots them in front of their kids.
What?
The cops come up, or no, he calls the cops, like, oh, I shot my friend, and the cops come and pick him up, take him to the station, and then like within like 6 hours, like 4 Humvees pull up with dudes fully armed.
Oh shit.
I'm like, oh, we're here to take him under our jurisdiction. And then, yeah, he walks free.
What?
Yeah.
What the
That's
fuck?
wild.
Yeah, he's too special. Too much of an asset to face consequences. And so they know that too, and they're trained to kill and smuggle. So they come back home and they kill and smuggle, and then they're deemed like, oh, you're above the law, or you're worth protecting in case we want you to kill, you know, a village of people somewhere we don't like.
See, and that's the most sinister thing about this movie to me, is like you see these men preparing for a war that has yet to be waged, and it's like they could just be called upon at any given moment to, without questions, handle a mission that's bestowed upon them. And it's such a weird thing, like every time you see them on leave, like they go into town and they're almost like these haunting like phantoms that are just roaming the streets, and you see all the local people like responding to them, like they're sort of like skirting them along the side, or they're sort of like keeping like a weird, or they're
Like a side eye?
Yeah, side eye on them. Like every time that, like there was that scene where Galoup is starting to, you know, wanting to create space between Forestier and Sentain, where he's like, no, I'm going to take this entire troop out to this remote area in South Africa to, was it restore a road or something like that? And then they have to go through a checkpoint that the government's placed, and then everybody's just side-eyeing them.
Yeah, the guys checking the documents are just... Yeah, a great shot of him just looking at every single one of them. Now, I think in that same location, there's the young girl throws a rock at the truck as it's passing.
To me, I feel like that was completely unscripted, and I'm so glad they kept that in here. Because I mean that's basically like there's some sort of like weird divide between the colonialism that exists in this area of South Africa, with the French Legion, Foreign Legion, like taking up space and just occupying it, and then just the locals and everybody just trying to get by.
Yeah, and then like even those scenes where at the nightclubs, and then the women are just trying to like just dance, and I don't know. It seems like they just want to be left alone, right? Like they are very much like, get out of my space when the men try to come up in their personal zones. Yeah, I think that goes along, hand in hand with the other scenes that you're describing pretty well.
Another thing, you bring up like another good like setting of the story, which is the nightclub. I think it was called like the Bar des Alpes, or
yeah, something like that.
And I think that when it's first introduced, all the Legionnaires go there during their leave, and then Galoup is sort of like stalking them, like tailing them in a way. And he goes up the steps, but then he comes back down because he can't quite create that sense of camaraderie that he's like lacking between all of them. Like the only link he has to them is that he's the one guiding them, and that's it. Which is such a weird comparison between him and Forestier, who actually shares like some sort of empathy with them. Like there's that scene where Sentain, it's like a night shift or whatever, and Sentain runs or comes across Forestier, who he says, hey, like how did you join this? Like, do you have a mother or father? And he says, no, I don't have any. Like, I don't know anything about them. I was found in a stairwell. And then Forestier says, well, what a find. Like that's like just enough to like create some sort of empathy between the two, but we never get that with Galoup. It's just constant primal energy.
He's like, no, he doesn't get to say that. He gets to say down, up, medium, down, up, medium.
Oh yeah, that scene was insane,
dude. When he's doing when he's pushing himself, the push-ups
right next to him, like going, like he's like throwing himself up.
Yeah, and he's like leaping off the ground,
yeah.
like, oh man, it's so charged. It's like you sense like the spirit just desperately wanting to break free of like however it was shaped and like just completely deformed, and I feel so much for Galoup in this, and it's heartbreaking to see this, but also beautiful in the end.
I can't help but to think about Sentain too. Like I just wonder like what is his life like after this? Like, does he go back to the Legion? Does he go on living a different life? Like, how does that affect him? You know, I think that's an interesting juxtaposition between him and Galoup. If anything, I wish they'd spend maybe a little bit more of an epilogue also on Sentain. And can someone remind me, they didn't really do a whole lot of going back to the Legion either after the fact, right? Like, I felt like it was really just showing Galoup and his civilian life before he offs himself.
Oh yeah, there's only the one part where they find the compass on like a flea market.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And everyone just assumes like, oh, he must have perished in the salt lands or been killed by a local in the salt lands. They don't suspect that the compass was sabotaged.
I would argue that the epilogue happens at the beginning of the movie after seeing it a second time, because we see Galoup walking about the streets in his iconic black outfit. Oh man, if I could look that good in a black button up with like just some black linen pants, like, and those shoes, like, come on, man. But yeah, like he ends up walking along the streets, like it's sort of intercut with a bunch of footage, and that was kind of the most surreal thing about watching it for a second time after all these years, is it felt like a completely different movie to me. It felt like Galoup had offed himself and was sort of sticking around for like a day afterwards, watching the Legionnaires come to town go to the bar, interacting with the locals, and he sort of like side skirts them, and then ends up like that deer in headlight shot where he's in front of Forestier in his car, or in his taxi, I should say.
Damn, that's a crazy way to look at it.
It's
like
really,
he's a ghost, just kind of like watching those final moments on Earth.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of alluded to as well, because you see him living his life back in France, because he says that my biggest problem is that I've been away from France for too long, right? So he's completely dissolved his former identity compared to where he is now, where all he knows is rigidity. It's like that one line in the film where they say they expect you to be as perfect on the outside as on the inside. And even when it comes down to him killing himself, he's like pressing the creases, he's like getting rid of all the wrinkles in the bedding. And to me, the scenes of him being in Paris, it's like almost like a daydream phenomenon where he is seeing his life, without the military, without being a part of the Legion. That's just my own take, though. What do you guys think?
I like that theory.
I would have to rewatch.
Yeah, I
that
feel like that would
scene.
make
Because there's that one, and then I think of the airport one as well, where again he's in civilian mode completely, and he's confronted with the former legionnaires or current legionnaires,
and they're singing the anthem to him as he's leaving.
He like grabs his stuff in a panic.
Yeah, it's really haunting stuff.
So I wanted to shout out, I love for every Bowie knife scuba training session, we get like 3 laundry or ironing clothes.
Yeah, I was just going to say that earlier too, the shot of all 4 of them like ironing.
Yeah.
I love how a part of the theme is it highlights the domestic chore aspect of like, this regimented service stuff, like, oh, your clothes can't have any wrinkles. So it shows like all these dudes ironing shirts for like 5 minutes. Like, it's not all cool knife fights and carrying a gun around. It's a lot more of that, and hanging laundry and folding laundry and then ironing your laundry.
Yeah, I felt the laundry bit especially because like around here there's like people who come by and like blow the debris and like clean up all the stuff around my complex, and I hang dry my laundry a lot because I don't have like a space for a dryer or anything. And I just imagine like my clothes having like a layer of dust on them like the moment I bring them in, of just my environment, of like the pollutants, the dust, the pollen, all these different like things coalescing that creates Sacramento, like the valley as a whole. And I just imagine this crust being placed upon me whenever I place like a new shirt on, or like,
and you carry it with you everywhere you go.
Exactly.
Or like when he put up those wet ass socks and then let them dry. I'm like, dude, those got to be the crustiest socks.
Yeah, like there's no like you have to.
That was a great scene too, of good camaraderie. He's like teaching his friend French. Yeah. He's like, I can speak French. I can speak French too now.
Yeah, and it also brings up that of like, why is Galoup jealous of Sentain? Like, what do you guys think? Why is he jealous of Sentain?
I feel like he lives freely. Like, I don't know. Yeah, he doesn't. It seems like he doesn't have pent up. I don't know, like masculinity issues or remorse too. Like, he just has lived life without remorse because he's kind of just like a hero type of character. Who's always done the right thing.
Right. Maybe he's also jealous of his, I don't know.
And the way people are drawn to him too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a natural leader almost, right? I felt like maybe Galoup was jealous of Sentain's like generosity or his just the way he was able to connect with the others naturally. That's probably why he like kicks the water out of his hand when he's trying to help the soldier who's being punished digging out the hole and stuff. Like, he's like, no, like, you all have to suffer maybe the same way I've suffered, and like trauma begetting trauma or what have you. I don't know.
Yeah, he like won their respect naturally, whereas the only reason the rest of them respected him was just because he was in a higher rank, and
could kill him. I love that great scene where he like chokes out a guy. They're fighting late at night, and he throws one to the side and just hops on the other guy. But again, that's not the type of authority that people respect or love. It's the iron hand. And then I think there's a French connotation with that. Like he's just like a natural leader. He's history on horseback.
Mm-hmm.
Galoup is not that.
Right.
He's, too neurotic or too obsessed with identity as a legionnaire and not just innate soldier man or leader. Sentain saves. He
has too much toxic masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And Sentain's the only one that use their training to save someone. No one else does that in the whole film.
During the helicopter.
Or Galoup. Is it Galoup?
Or
no.
Galoup. Yeah, Galoup.
Yeah, Galoup is like, his training is like to punish them or outright fight them, like a great shot where it's the face-off between them. I love that we don't see whatever the drill is. If they wrestle or they start doing judo or whatever, we don't see any of that happen. We don't see who wins. We just see them facing off.
Yeah. Oh, what about the punch? Dude, that was another thing I had a problem with. I was like, dude, come on, give me a fucking like. I feel like just a real punch, like because they were both such good actors too. I'm like, dude, I know these guys would have taken like an actual just knuckle sandwich to the face.
That moment was definitely the only one that like took me out of it.
Yeah, it for sure takes you out of it.
Yeah, because it was like slow motion and it was so clearly staged.
I don't even think it was slow motion. I think they literally just filmed it like normal and just did it slow.
Yeah. I thought it was like a dream at that point. I was like, did he really punch him or did he imagine that? Like what?
But maybe that's like to enhance it. You know? Like that's the thing.
Who knows?
To me, that's like part of the plan of Galoup. It's like, I'm going to punish this guy really hard for having different religious beliefs. Like, I think he ditched his post to go pray at a mosque. So he's okay, you got to spend at least 2 days digging with your hands bloody for no reason. And then Sentain's like, okay, this isn't cool. Here's water, man. And he's like, okay, let me come up and slap that out of your hand and stand there and wait for you to punch me. And so it's a nice, like, slow motion shot. Like, he probably could have done something about that punch coming, but he let it happen because he knew he would give into his emotions.
So like, to punish him,
yeah, probably throw like a hesitant punch, and he's like, oh no, because we see him just effortlessly choke that guy out, and there's two of them. He like throws one off him from stopping him and everything.
Right.
So we never get to see Sentain come back, huh?
Yeah.
No, I
hope he's okay.
Yeah, I think the ambiguity is that he can be saved from that world.
Yeah,
like, or like, they take him back, like, oh, this guy was in your legion, like, oh god, okay, he's not in any condition. You've done enough service, or like, we don't know how long it is. It's okay, you've done 2 years of your 2.5 years, you can rest up in a hospital for 6 months and then you're good. That's my interpretation.
Yeah. Dang, and Galoup like literally lived his tattoo to a T. What did he say? What did it mean? Do the good and die?
Yeah, serve a good cause and die.
Serve the good cause and die. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that was literally his mantra.
Oh shit! Oh crap! That's time for our commercial break, folks.
We're
sorry, team.
Let's see, advertisers.
Take out my trash.
Yeah, that tattoo. That makes sense for his character. I feel like that's like the common thing with like good soldiers, good brainwashed little soldiers, right? Like they are very much die trying, very much give up everything in the process, very much just Galoup. Maybe that's the whole point. Maybe that's the whole commentary, was just this one spectrum of this view of a military soldier versus the other end of the spectrum with Sentain, and how these two different types of ideals and looks on military life clash. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like it's like they both were willing to die for the cause, but in different ways.
Right.
Yeah. That's a really excellent point.
Yeah.
Like Sentain was like the pure, just like a comrade.
He would die to do good. and then Galoup would die to be something that's deemed good. Is what it feels like.
Yeah.
Like the Legion values this, I will die for this.
Right.
Like it has to be like he would die if it was like in war with a bunch of people watching, and like he died valiantly or something for show.
Yeah, or the classic thing, like maybe even he'd be too busy thinking about, is this the right thing to die for or not? That he wouldn't do the thing that Sentain would do, like jump on the grenade. Like, do I jump on the grenade or do I lead my men? Where Santian's like, oh, I'll hop on this to save my friends.
Yeah.
And that's why he's admired, and Galoup isn't.
Yeah, very much like a nature versus nurture kind of a story, right?
Yeah, and it's really interesting seeing the buildup of that eventual betrayal between Galoup and the Legion as a whole, basically, because it's like once you betray one member, you betray everybody. Because it's like if you're willing to send this person out to their death with a faulty compass, you're willing to do it to anyone who crosses you.
Who's to say who's safe?
Isn't there? What was his boss's name? Forestier? Doesn't he say something like that too? Of like, don't backstab your friends in the Legion or whatever.
Yeah,
it's not in the rule book.
Yeah.
Because I think that it's a part of that excellent scene while they're playing chess, and Galoup takes like a very roundabout way in like his next move, and Forestier calls him out on it. He's like, "Wow, you're really stretching this to make me uncomfortable in like the next move that I have to make." And then that's afterwards he Galoup mentions his reservations about Sentain and his place in the company, of saying like, hey, he has something up his sleeve, we don't know what it is that he's like trying to get at. And he even mentions in his voiceover, like early on, like there was just something very strange about Sentain. Like he was smaller than everybody else. He didn't seem like he had a place here. And that eventually like planted that seed for like this. To me, it represents everything that Galoup wanted to be with the Legion. Like he wanted to experience like this unconditional camaraderie, this unconditional love. Because the thing that we also haven't touched on is the fact that like Galoup has a girlfriend, like a local girlfriend, who he spends time with. He gets her like a gift from time to time. There's that scene of like hanging up the laundry, and then he like shows up at the tail end to like throw a dress up on the clothesline, and I just love that juxtaposition of hanging up laundry to dry, and it's like sopping wet, and you like shake it out, like you don't even wring it, you just shake it out, and you see all the water glittering everywhere, and then you just see like a gust of wind with like dirt immediately like getting caked on it. And then also like with Sentain, like when he's out in the salt field, and it's that juxtaposition of the water that should nurture you is sapping you of your life, and it's just all these like salt crystals, and he's like trying to protect his like head from the sun with his crusted like overcoat. And there's something weird about the clothing in this. But anyways, to go back to Galoup's girlfriend, to me, I don't know. I personally didn't feel like they communicated that much, or they understood each other that well. What do you guys think?
She felt like an afterthought. Like she's only like what 1-2 scenes or something like that, and I never see her again. Like I don't know. I didn't really. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like just like a transactional relationship.
Yeah, I felt like he was doing the stereotype of like occupying force. I'll go out and find a girl who's much younger than me, and yeah. And then I wanted to touch on that detail. I love that him noticing Sentain is different is like him like, no, he has something up his sleeve. He's doing something. He's doing something to make me obsessed with him. Where it's like, oh, it's really probably just the first like legionnaire to come through who's different that he's attracted to, or he's just attracted to him. He's like, oh, this guy, something's off about this guy, or it's not entering his head that he may have these desires, or when he blocks it out. Like, no, he's actually planning something. And whatever that thing is, I don't know. And everyone else is kind of like, oh, you're being neurotic or crazy, or it's very unmotivated. Any of the stuff he does is unmotivated unless you interpret it as like an extreme resentment and jealousy, or an extreme resentment and jealousy from an attraction he refuses to acknowledge,
Right.
be it to what Sentain achieves and represents that he will never have, or Sentain himself is something that he'll never have. And then and then going to the girl, it feels like I don't think we see them even. I think there's one scene. No, we never see them. We see them interact from reverse shot, and then there's one scene where she's asleep and his face is out of frame and he gives her a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a scene where I think he's in a bed, and then it reverse shots to her and her friend, and then the friend is talking like, "Oh, is this your boyfriend?" And meanwhile, like Sentain and him are having a like operatic spinning shirtless approach that takes like 2 minutes and ends with them like inches from each other's face. It's like, okay, I see. I think I can. Yeah, I think that's like the main service of her character, as well as to represent the communities and the countries they're occupying. It's like, oh, here's this young girl who's living her own life, and these outside forces are just dropped into their country, and it's not even worth the trouble of removing them. So they just accept it until, I guess, we'll see. But yeah, I know one nation has recently kicked out. France, maybe? I think it was Northern Africa, though.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I do remember seeing, like, because I when I looked up the movie or whatever, just same thing, like read the synopsis real quick, and it said like LGBTQ. I remember noticing that they were like in those like rompers or whatever, like the overalls, but with like the short shorts and like the cut off tank, and they're like all buff. And they're like so many shots of like guys' asses and shit, and I was like, okay, I can see it. Like, this is tight, dude. That guy's got a nice body right there.
I did watch a video about Claire Denis. Mm-hmm. She did High Life too, as well, right?
Yes, yeah.
I love that movie. She's amazing. But I did see a interview where she talked about this movie, and she's like, "Yeah, I hired a choreographer to help me make the training scenes as homoerotic as possible."
Because they're doing like ballet almost, like the stretches are kind of like ballet-esque when they're like throwing their hands backward. And the part where they're like ironing, like doing laundry, kind of like more so, I guess you would say, like womanly tasks, at least for like military men. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. So there was a little bit. I think there was a little bit in there.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of gender play in it. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the first military movies that has like that I've seen that has like touched upon that, because it is such a big deal. It's like, why do my shoes have to be pristine? Why do they have to not have like a fleck of dirt on them? Why do they have to be like so polished? Why do I have to constantly clean my gun? Why do I constantly have to like iron my clothes and everything? And like,
why does your bed have to just be tucked like perfectly pristine, 6 inches on each side?
Yeah, it's like it's so filled to the brim with so much charged emotion, and it's like, for what is it that you're trying to tell me? And I haven't seen too much of Claire Denis' work other than High Life, which we saw in a theater a long time ago. And this makes me want to see 35 Shots of Rum, as well as a bunch of other movies that she's made, because I feel like she has like such a distinct voice, and the operatic nature of this movie, and like you mentioned, Tyler, the ballet, like it feels so much like a ballet, where everybody has like a specific part that they're like moving to, and it's all in sync, and it's the most military movie I've ever seen. And it's crazy to come from like a French woman, mm-hmm. which is amazing. It's so cool that that's been a thing that, and what you mentioned, Pat, about how she hired a choreographer to make it as homoerotic as possible.
Yeah, all the like when they embrace and release.
That's so brilliant. That is so brilliant, because like that's such a communal thing where it's like, you know, you see them like pushing each other away, and then they embrace, push away, embrace, and it's like the waves you mentioned, Tyler, of like crashing onto you like a meditative thing, and eventually it's like you're dissolving the boundaries between one another to where you just become one. And to me, that is so, I can't even now I can't put words to that to what it is that I'm feeling when I think about that. And this is one of those rare movies that I get so caught up in trying to articulate what it is that I'm feeling about it, because it's just you could only express it in cinema.
Yeah, I think this is also just the visuals too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to watch this in it. I wish I saw it in a theater.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
striking,
Yes.
great visuals.
That like desert, barren look, but just with that perfect blue water. I'm like, I want to go to this place, even though it's probably like not that fun. But
I still want to go. I want to see that Salt Lake.
yeah,
Even though
that reminded me of Snake that ate itself. I was like getting flashbacks.
Yeah, it's so weird seeing that Salt Lake, because you see like the perfectly like you mentioned, like crystal clear like water just ebbing and flowing.
like, oh, thank God, you got water. Whew. And then you see the edge of the shore. It's like, oh no.
It's like the saltiest water you'll ever drink.
Yeah, it's like he's not gonna drink it, right? And then he approaches it.
And then you see like the following scene where the local people are bringing trinkets from that area, and just things that they found. Like it was like a skull of like an animal that was encrusted in salt crystals. It's like, like it's so normal to them, but like you have this like French colonialism that's sort of like an afterthought now. Like there's no longer a need. Like, why are they there? There's no
Yes.
fucking point to them being there.
Yeah, it really highlights how alien it is. It's like something out of Annihilation,
Mm-hmm.
when that body takes on like flowers or something. It's like, oh, here's a goat skull that's completely crystallized on the surface. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess that happens here. That's not happening in Marseilles. It's not happening in all these places in their home country.
Yeah, and it's also really, I can't express the word for it, but there's a certain feeling that I get whenever I think of Sentain and how he gives in to the consequences of punching Galoup. There's that beautiful close-up shot of just the compass spinning,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have like a set direction, but it just perfectly encapsulates. Like that could have been shown in like a 5-minute like montage of like Sentain trying to like find his bearings, but no, it's captured in like the span of like 30 or like 45 seconds of just a compass spinning. And then he arrives at this salt lake, and then you see him like crusted over in salt, and it's like he almost like gives in to his fate of being like, oh well, I was never wanted by my parents, I wasn't wanted here where I'm giving away my name, like all this other stuff, and yet he's found again. Like it's almost like he was found in the stairwell for the second time.
He's a very lucky guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful movie, and I'm really glad you guys got to watch it.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a cool watch. I'm
Mhm.
glad I saw it, and yeah, I'm really glad. I'm really happy that it ends the way it ends. It's just so cool and it's so funny, and I was like, yeah, this movie's tight, and everything else was cool too, but like that put the cherry on top. And now I really want to see how y'all would move in that scene if we played that song. If we had a video component to this podcast, we'd be like, let me see your moves, Kev. Let me see your shit, Kev.
I want to like steal some of his dance moves when he does like that 360
Yeah.
spin when he's like kneeling down at the end.
The jump, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he falls on and
Yeah, like
just
lands
falls
on his
face-
side perfectly. Oh my god.
Puts a lot of energy into it. I was like, damn, he's moving fucking fast. And I'm like, damn, you could just dance and not give a fuck and it would still look cool. Like, as long as it's like you just doing, like, just being free, like,
Yeah.
you like, wow, he's got moves. Like, I should dance more like him. Like, just be liberated.
Yeah, it's so unconventional the way that he dances in that scene, and it's almost like he's breaking free of the shackles that the military and South Africa has like placed on him. Because like I feel like if he had stayed in France, he would have found out, hey, I'm, attracted to men, and that's completely okay. Like, it's celebrated here, it's whatever, and he leads like a completely ordinary life and perhaps enjoys that life, you know? Whereas in this and I love how the ending comes up as well. It just comes out of nowhere. Like, he's just lying on his bed, pulls the gun out and is like observing it, and then all of a sudden it just cuts to him in that iconic black outfit.
And he's smoking a cigarette, hella cool. Like,
on the mirror wall, alone.
Dude, and that mirror wall setting has like such a weird feeling to it. It almost feels like being on the brink of a universe.
yeah, it's like a different world.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange.
You can never see like the other side of it. It's always just from like one angle or from like looking at the entrance in.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's on the second floor, but also in the basement at the same time.
Yes.
I was like, where are the windows? We don't need windows. But yeah, I do love that. Like, I was expecting a cliche, like, gunshot or, like, cut. And then, no, it's just him chewing up the scenery.
Turn up the dance floor.
That too.
I want to see him versus Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, man.
A remake with Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, because that's another movie that ends with an iconic dance scene.
Yeah.
There's another movie I really want to recommend that when it eventually comes around, like a year from now or something. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh God, I got it. Okay. There's a movie called Sweat, which is about sort of a social media influencer who is like a fitness guru, and it kind of reminds me of Perfect Blue in a way. If you guys have seen that movie, where it's like you develop like a parasocial relationship with this influencer, and you see them trying to just live an ordinary life. And I don't know, there's something so iconic about like an ending where a person embraces the limits that are placed upon their existence. Like in this movie, like you see Galoup just like completely let loose, and it's so fiery, it feels so unscripted, and he's just like moving to the rhythm of his body, to the rhythm of the night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like full on liberation at its fullest.
And then when you see like it cuts away for a second, and then it just shows all the different like people who acted in the movie like coming in like that pink font, and then it fades to white, and then it fills up the entire Legionnaire, and then it cuts back to him, and he's like standing, and then he jumps and then falls on the ground. Like, every time I listen to that song, it gives me life. And I've been getting into like house music because of this, like, like lately.
That's funny. What a time. What a trip.
Yeah, do you guys have any closing thoughts on this movie?
Yes, thank you, Kevin, for knowing I would love this movie and picking it, because I loved it.
I think we should take a lay film vacation to Djibouti.
Yeah.
Just really, really hone our podcasting skills.
Yeah. And just go hit a club and request Rhythm of the Night.
No club. We're all shirtless.
We're all shirtless
We'll
at
just
the
stand
beach.
in the sun,
At the beach,
raise
just
our arms to the
aggressively
sky.
tackle hugging each other.
I'd be down.
Destroying those boundaries.
And we'll be ironing our shirts.
Yeah.
Just over and over.
In like an alley.
We don't wear them, we just iron them and hang them back up.
Oh boy.
But yeah, what else could you want from life?
Right?
Just time with the boys. That's it. That's all you need.
Honestly, we mentioned it earlier. Well, Jezzer, you came here before everybody. Like, we were talking about it a little bit earlier. Ever since we've seen Perfect Days,
Yeah.
we just want to ditch our lives and become just a bunch of, like, Tokyo bathroom cleaners.
Yeah.
Live an ordinary life. Like,
Something simple. Help humanity in a little way.
Yep.
You know.
It's like that old adage of visiting, like, a national park. You want to leave it better than when you found it, right? Like, if you see a piece of trash that was there when you first arrived, pick it up on the way out. No big deal, you know? Leaves the place all the better after your visit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's crazy to think that that's as small of an action that you need to take to leave, like, an impact. And yet it's so difficult for some people. Why is it so difficult? It's not that difficult.
You have to leave no trace, leave no impact to leave an impact.
Oh, there we go.
Bars.
Mic drop.
That's gonna be the clip that we show.
Please no.
The review and summary. I think it fits.
Yeah.
He didn't really leave an impact on any of them. Yeah. But I think Sentain did.
I feel like they all still treasured some level of impact that he left. Of like, hey, there's great purpose in trying to achieve perfection, even as you get older and everything like that. Always holding yourself to a higher standard. But at some point, they also recognize, like, hey, maybe not to that high of a standard. Like have some sort of, like, leeway with it. I don't know. But, yeah. If you're interested, if you haven't seen the movie, and you're still at this point, you could check it out on, you could buy it on Amazon, YouTube, those god-awful places that we all need to engage with.
HBO Max?
HBO Max.
By that.
Oh, it's just going by Max.
Oh.
It's just
no
Max
HBO.
now.
Sorry.
Yep.
No more HBO.
It's your move,
Sorry,
Peacock.
Also on Criterion Channel, if you have that, you could stream it there, or you could just buy the movie. Honestly, this is going to be one of those movies that I buy. I would love to see behind the scenes, director's commentary. I would love to engage with all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But if you want to write into us, you could do so at layfilmpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's at layfilm, LEFILM podcast. And just share your thoughts with us. You guys have anything else you want to say?
I got nothing.
You heard it from Jezer himself. Well, until the next one, here's to season 2, starting off strong. Got a lot of good picks. Got plenty more films for you to check out if you haven't already. And stay well.
Peace out.
Deuces.